So what if you're a regular at a cafe and have a crush on the waitress? So you work up the courage to ask her out and she agrees. But on your date, she starts to trauma dump on you about being cheerful and you decide to help her out in this escapade. Well, that's the story of the doujin I have for you today. Let's Talk 213588, called How to Make a Smile. It's from the artist Yokaki. Not a lot of tags for this one, but it's pretty wholesome. So let's get right into it. The doujin starts out with the main girl, a waitress, delivering a coffee to someone. It's this guy hyping himself up in his mind as he goes to ask Kazumi out. So he pops a question and she just has no reaction, which makes him think it's a fluke, but she agrees. And it cuts to him in this position as he's sitting with his friends wondering what's up. They're talking about her and how his friends thought she was some middle-aged woman but is 20 and is a total outcast. They bring up the fact that she has a mean look and her booba, but he runs off. It cuts to her waiting for him and he apologizes for making her wait even if he was 10 minutes early, and he thinks she may have been looking forward to it. But they go to the cinema to see a movie and it cuts to after and they're saying it was fun. Then cuts to this cafe and the guy starts ranting about how he's glad he watched that movie and is glad she told him about it. Then apologizes for talking too much. But she asks if he's a cheerful person and asks how he manages to be so cheerful. She apologizes for bringing it up so suddenly, and it's something she's not sure what to do since the only person kind enough to hire her was her boss and she doesn't have anyone to talk to about it with. So Ueda, the guy, offers to help her and give her advice. She asks if he's serious and thanks him while he's just trying to play it off. She talks about not being able to smile no matter how much effort she puts in, and of course he had ulterior motives but really wanted to help her. It cuts to his friend from before judging him for reading a fashion magazine since he was thinking she should wear something brighter. It cuts again to them shopping and he picks out a dress for her, which literally brings him to tears when she tries it on. The two go on more and more dates and laughed a whole lot until they get to this crane machine and she starts smiling, which he immediately congratulates her for, and she thanks him and says she can be cheerful now even just a little bit, which to him is a cute just surprise attack. It cuts to the cafe she works at again and she's bringing out a coffee and his friend sees that something's different about her. He takes the credit with the thanks going to him, but his friend says she's much cuter this way and runs to the toilet, leaving Ueda to overthink things, thinking things like she's more cheerful and has a lovely smile, but thinks he was doing this just to have leverage over her. But she walks up and asks if he's okay and says that guy with him said her mood lightened up. She said that her boss said something similar and says that it's thanks to him, as it shows the boss reminiscing, but he says that she doesn't need to go out with him anymore and that she'll be fine, which confuses her. Though he goes on saying that he was useful but she doesn't need to go out with him anymore and apologizes for having her tag along all this time. She asks why and starts crying. The boss calls her though and says he's leaving early if she could close the store. The boss leaves and meets Ueda's friend Ryuji and asks him to go out drinking, but Ueda stands up and questions if she was crying just now. He looks over at her and she asks if he's bothering him or hurt him. He yells no, is quite the opposite, and to forget what he just said, and apologizing, saying that Ryuji was saying she was cute and that he got jealous and started to vent, and that he wanted to keep going on dates with her. She hugs him and says she thought she may have gotten too vain, which he says he should be saying that, and goes on saying that outburst was his desire to monopolize her, but the opposite, that she's not really his or anything, but just doesn't even know what he's saying at this point. But she asks him to make her his, and they just do it right then and there. They finish up and leave, and she apologizes for having him help clean up. They walk off as the boss and Ryuji are spying on them, with Ryuji asking if the boss knew it would turn out that way. But Kazumi asks if she could tell the boss about them, and owes him for the advice she asked. He says it would make him happy, and asks her out on another date, which she agrees. And the doujin ends. Overall, I rate this a 10 out of 10. It's just so wholesome and just so good. The art style is really nice too, and I love the artist's use of costumes in this, and it's just generally a good read overall. I recommend you check it out for yourselves as always. That's all I got. I'll see you in the next one.
Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul. These hentai babes make me drool. Hasune Miku is great. She makes me masturbate. Fairy tale.